Welcome to collectibles.com Unscripted. I'm Ryan, and this is Melanie, the Petite Geek.
Hi.
We are here talking about Melanie, her collection, her time on Lego Masters. Like, that's crazy. And, just everything about Melanie. So, my first question for you is how long have you been collecting? When did you start?
I would say at a very, very young age. My dad was a collector. He's also a geek. So one of the first things that I remember that he saved for us were these Power Rangers action figures from like
Okay.
1995 or something. They had karate chop action and everything and like sound effects. And we had, I believe, all of the Power Rangers and the Megazord.
Very cool.
And he bought two sets, one for him to keep away from the kids and one for us to play. And like it was up in his closet for years. We were always like, man, why is he keeping this? Why is he keeping this? You know? But he
Yeah.
was like, you never know. It's gonna like cost more someday. So that's
Yeah.
when I learned, like, oh, okay, so he collects things so that maybe it's more valuable later on in life. And teeny beanie babies happen too, so we were collecting those. We used to collect McDonald's toys, like Burger King
Of
toys, Taco
course.
Bell. He used to bribe the people like in the driveway in the drive-through. Hey, like, can I get this one toy for my kids? Like, I'll pay you for it. Like, that's the only one we need, like, to finish our collection. So, like, I started collecting at a very young age. Like, it was because of my dad that I'm like this. So yeah, that's how it started.
Blame it all on dad, but that's a good thing, right?
True.
I mean,
Yeah.
you have fun with it, absolutely, and I'm sure
Hmm.
you've had fun collecting since you've been a kid. That's a huge
Yeah.
thing, for sure. I think when it came to me, like I was, a collector, but like not necessarily like my parents didn't necessarily collect anything. Yeah, they had the Beanie Babies, of course, because who didn't at the time, But
Hmm.
I think like growing up as a collector, like that's so special, and I love that. Like me being a dad personally, I love being a collector and being able to show off my stuff to my kid. I don't have one to rock and one to stock necessarily for the kid, but sometimes with our Hot Wheels, I've been collecting those here and there a little bit. Like he'll pick up one, and I'll be like, I'll pick up another one because he'll beat the heck out of this one probably. He's a toddler, so
Right.
it's like not for value, but for value of when he
For
actually
your enjoyment.
completely enjoy the product.
And then they understand the fandom, and then they grow to love it, and they grow to like collect things of
Exactly.
their own.
Exactly. Exactly.
Hmm. So you know what had happened with those Power Rangers was I went to my first LA Comic Con like a few years ago, and the Power Rangers just so happened to be there. I call my dad right then and there. I'm like, Dad, you know those Power Rangers you've had in the closet since I was like 5? They're here. Do you want me to go sign them for you? And he was like, yeah. And then he drove from Van Nuys to LA to the convention center. And he's like, here, have them sign all of them. I'm like, okay, good. So I rushed over there, got in the line, had them sign them all, and now they're even worth like
Yeah.
more now because they have
Yeah.
autographs on them. So
Very cool. Is he still a collector to this day then? Or did you take over?
not so much. He games a lot. He doesn't like really shop much. I think he lives through me now, like because sometimes I'll bring him home some stuff like amiibos because he loves playing Legend
Mhm.
of Zelda. So together we're pretty much collecting like all the Zelda amiibos. So whenever there's like a new one that comes out or one that we don't have, I'm like, Dad, like, guess what? Here, I'm bringing this home to
Yeah.
you. And then, of course, we'll have one to open and one to not open because we like to keep them in the box and one to use. So,
Very, very cool. Awesome. Awesome. So, I mentioned, you collect, you've been on Lego Masters. What was that very first Lego set of yours?
oh my God. I think it was like a really old Spider-Man one, like when I was a little kid. But you know what? We never opened the box because my dad was like, well, this might have value someday. So like we never opened that box and I don't know what happened to it.
Oh, man.
But when I had asked for Lego as a kid, I was like, "Hey, can I actually have some Lego?" He was like, "Oh yeah, sure, sure." But he got me Connects instead. So I didn't actually like grow up as a kid like with Lego. Like he would buy like my guy cousin's Lego sets, but I never got one. He got me Connects, which was also fun. But like, yeah, it wasn't until like a few years ago when I auditioned for the show the first time that I started doing Lego.
I was gonna get into that. How did you start that like process of like building, auditioning? Like was that a big like thing that took a long time then?
Yes, sort of. So when the first season came out, my friend Allison, my
Yeah.
teammate on the show, she was looking for a teammate and she couldn't, like, she was going around asking people and she was like, oh, Mel, like, you would be good for TV and stuff like that. I know, like, you haven't really done much Lego in the past, but, like, I could teach you some things and then we can get ready for the show. Like, we could take pictures of stuff that we've built together and, take pictures of ourselves wearing cute outfits. And so yeah, so we auditioned. I sent in pictures of stuff that I did and we did together. We actually got to the final round of casting for the first season, so we almost
Wow.
made it. And yeah, I know, right? Wild, right? We got to know the whole first season cast, so like till this day we're still friends. But I didn't actually audition again until 3 years later for season 4 because I just got busy with work. I was actually working for Hot Topic and I just kept climbing up the ladder and becoming
Got
manager,
you.
from key holder to part-time manager to assistant manager to almost a manager.
I actually worked at Hot Topic for a whole day, but I wouldn't even count it a day. It
Again.
was a 3 hour shift, and I ended up getting it was my very first job technically, and I ended up getting another job at like this same exact time. And so I actually knew somebody from school that worked there. He told the manager that I had another job as well, and he didn't like that. So the
Oh
day I
no.
graduated high school, I came in to talk to the manager to tell him about it, and he already knew, and he let me go that same day.
Oh
I literally worked
no.
a Hot Topic for 3 hours.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I know.
That's
It was
so
pretty
bad.
crazy.
Well, the whole time I was at Hot Topic, I had two jobs, and I would just have one. So I was
Yeah.
working at Hot Topic and a car dealership, and that was just the car dealership. So when
Yeah.
auditions for season 4 came, I was just working for the one place, and they let me audition. So yeah, so I auditioned for season 4, and I ended up getting on.
Now, how does that all, how does that all go through? Like, is it weeks at a time? Is it like how many hours do you put in for your days? Like going behind the scenes, of a Lego master. Like, how does that work?
Get up really early, like 5 o'clock in the morning. Go go to the studio, get your hair and makeup done, get your wardrobe done, chill for a little bit. They might have some breakfast for you. And then I think it's like 8 hours that we're filming or so.
Wow.
We get a lunch break and then we go home and it's late. And then we start the day all over again.
Do they have a hotel for you? Is the lunch and dinner luxurious?
They have a hotel for us. They provide us lunch. I wouldn't say it's like luxurious, but it's good food.
Yeah, it was good food. Okay, that's good to know.
We go out sometimes. Some of the teams we would just hang out.
And where was it filmed at?
Georgia.
Georgia. Got it.
Yeah,
Very cool. Very
they flew us all the
interesting.
way out there. I'm over here in LA.
They fly you out there. They have you on. How many weeks were you there then?
I was there for like a little over 2 months, I think.
Wow.
No, we flew us out like late February, March. It was there all March, and then a little bit of April. Okay, so like yeah, so like maybe like a little over a month, like almost two. Yeah.
Wow.
Hmm.
That's crazy. That's so interesting. Because how far did you guys get in the season? I've watched some of your season. I haven't watched all of it to be honest. But how far did you get?
We got about like halfway. So not semifinals, but a couple
Hmm.
episodes right before semifinals.
Now that like you were on Lego Masters, that makes you kind of a celebrity in a sense, right? So you get invited to like these brick conventions and these Lego type of conventions. How does that make you feel?
Oh, it's always so much fun. I love interacting with all the fans, especially the little kids, especially the little girls actually, because every time there's a little girl, she just sees you and her eyes just beam up and she's like, ah, Melanie, and she gives you a big hug and she's like, oh my gosh, I love your outfit. I'm like, oh, thank you. So it's just little
That's awesome.
girls, because like I said, like growing up, like Lego was more for little boys. And I feel like that still kind of lives on today where like parents still think certain things are for boys and certain things are for girls. But now we're seeing more and more girls do things that were like considered boy stuff. Like growing up, I always did boy stuff. So yeah. So I feel it, that a lot of stuff was just not accessible to us. So it's especially special for little girls who, it's just not as common to be into that.
Totally understandable. Yeah, no, I think, growing up as a nerdy or geeky girl at the time was probably a lot different, than it is now. A lot of things are a lot more acceptable too. I mean, I talk about it all the time, like being a nerd right now is the coolest thing, period. As I'm sure you know. There's just so much stuff when it comes to pop culture and nerd lifestyles that and I'm way into anime and like all this stuff, and it's just like it is the cool thing right now. Ever since the pandemic hit, it's the cool thing to be a nerd.
Right?
And it's cool. It's cool to live your life and not have to necessarily think like, hey, like I'm gonna possibly be bullied, or like picked on or whatever, or talked down to or about or whatever. So it's great to be a nerd. Do you end up going to school for like any of that stuff?
No,
Yeah.
I didn't. But like growing up, I was always into fashion. I went to a Catholic school where we always wore school uniforms. We had three dress days, like once a month, and I would wear the flashiest outfits. It didn't matter if it matched or not. I would just like I got butterfly clips all over my hair. I'm wearing like a flashy, bedazzled like top and bell bottoms with glitter on them, and yeah, I was like crazy looking, but I didn't care because I was expressing myself. I was like, I don't want to wear a uniform. This is who I am. I'm extra. I didn't even know what extra was, but I was extra. So I've always just expressed myself through fashion. And like, I didn't know how big a part it played in my life until like later on because like, I was always into fandoms, but nothing was ever available. Like, there was no Zelda clothes for girls. There was no Mario, like, not, dinosaurs. I was obsessed with dinosaurs. Like, the only thing I could get with Barney, but like, I liked Barney but like I want ferocious dinosaurs. I want to wear them. Like I was always into guy stuff, but now it's so much more accessible to girls, especially with these brands that make it so much more accessible. So
Yeah, and it's a lot of stuff is unisex nowadays, too. So, you talked about collecting clothes, like hello, like it's so easy to do now. I mean,
only downside is I need a bigger closet. That's pretty much it. People are like, "How do you store everything?" Like my old closet in my old apartment was so much bigger. I even did a video on how I keep my clothes. It has to be organized. Organization is key. Got all my dinosaur Jurassic stuff. Got all my Marvel stuff. Got all my Zelda stuff. Got all my Star Wars stuff. Got all my dresses and like everything. Cosplay. Like it just has to be organized. But
yeah, like you said, you have to be organized because if you're not organized, just like a regular collection of figures, then it doesn't make sense in a sense.
mhm.
And it's like, what am I supposed to do with all this stuff? And then it's like, but they're closed, so it's like harder to. I feel like that's a harder sell too, right? You buy, sell, trade clothes. Like, how does that work?
So I actually get my clothes from the brand ambassadorships. Like they send them to me for free, so I don't have to buy them. So I haven't really bought much clothes in a while, like unless it's like for work, which is like business stuff. I don't buy a lot anymore because like they get sent to me. Don't get me wrong though, I am still an impulse buyer. If I see something that I'm like I'm probably not gonna get that, like I will buy it. Like Katy Perry just came out with like a line of Hello Kitty shoes, and I was like, oh my.
Collecting clothes, oh man, it's just as bad as collecting toys now. Everybody and their mother has a collaboration coming out, or I tell people about Crocs all the time. The shoes. I don't know if you have any pairs, but it's one of those things. Pair after pair after pair after pair. It's like at least 3 to 5 collaborations like a month nowadays for all sorts of different types of shoes and shirts and all that stuff. It's crazy.
And that just goes back to like nerds being the cool guys these days because like
That's,
all these high-end fashion brands want like nerd merchandise. Like I think Coach had like a Naruto or was it Coach or
I have a sling bag from that. Michael B. Jordan teamed up with Naruto to do a Coach collaboration. Yeah, I have one of the sling bags from that, and I had a wallet too. We got made fun in school because we were studying and we were getting a grade and to upgrade ourselves when we become older so we can afford these fun, crazy things. Is there anything in the works that you could talk about, of yourself like coming up by chance?
Yeah, I'm gonna actually be in a new magazine feature for Shout Out LA. I was in one with Allison. Well, I did an article and like it was about me and Allison for Voyage LA, and the Shout Out is LA is like part of Voyage LA. So that's gonna be coming out soon. There's one that I can't really talk about. That's coming up in a couple months, and yeah, so I may be featured in something pretty soon. Lego Masters. So yeah.
Would you ever like go back to Lego Masters if they invited you?
Oh yeah, of course, 100%. Like it was so
Yeah.
much fun. Like yes, it was stressful at times. And I was newer to Lego compared to some of the other people.
Yeah.
But I would do it again because I learned a lot
Yeah.
and you learn a lot from other people while you're on the set. You make so many great friends. Everyone's so
Mhm.
great and Larnett and the Brickmasters are awesome. Yeah, I would definitely go back. I loved everyone.
Cool. No, I love to hear that. No, that's awesome. You know, it's like when you're watching reality TV, it's like, do these people really love each other? And it's great to hear like, yes, most of the time they really do.
Yeah, like me
You
and the
know.
cast members, we actually have a group chat that hasn't been silent since when we met. Like when we met, we
Wow.
all decided like, hey, what's your number? Let's start a group chat. It hasn't been silent ever since then. It's been like a year now, and like not a day has gone by where I haven't got like a notification.
That's very cool, though. No, that's very cool. You know, it's and you know we talk about like how collectibles like all about community and being in the fandoms and you know collecting the same stuff and talking about the same stuff. It's the fun of it. You know, it's not just about the stuff that we always collect or you know talk about. It's the people that we talk about it with. Going from fashion into cosplay, we talked about cosplay a little bit. You know, that's not that big of a difference, but it's one of those things where it's like that's a whole nother realm of fashion. That's a whole nother realm of thinking outside the box and putting yourself out there and everything. And you know, how does you know what was your first like cosplay? Would you say?
My first cosplay. Oh my gosh. Okay, you know what? I think it was Jimmy Neutron.
Wow. Okay, that's interesting.
My dad used to work for Paramount Pictures, so he would bring a bunch of stuff from parties. And there was this one like collector's box that came with the Jimmy
Wow.
Neutron T-shirt, a soundtrack, school supplies, and stuff like that. With the T-shirt, I'm little, boy, I'm little, so the T-shirt still fit me. um, and I was like, maybe one year I should be Jimmy Neutron for Halloween. So I wore the shirt, the shorts, like I had like white tennis shoes, and I actually did my hair. I I couldn't find a wig. I was like, I think I need a brown troll wig. I couldn't find a wig, so I actually did my hair. I don't regret it, but I do regret it. But I don't regret it because it was awesome. But I do regret it because I had to cut my hair short after that. I was in the shower for like 2 hours. Yeah. And so like yeah, I lost like a lot of it. So I had to end up cutting my hair. But you know, it's the effort.
What has been like your favorite cosplay to date?
Favorite cosplay to date. You know what? Like ever since I started working where I do, which is a car dealership, um, they have Halloween costume contest. I
Yeah.
placed top three every single year I've been there, and I'm known as the girl that has like really good costume. So like you may not see me
Uh,
for a while, and then you see me walking around. Hey, it's the girl with the cosplay. Like, what are you gonna be for Halloween this year? And it's like May. I'm like, okay. But like the first time I did cosplay for that, like I got first place in the Halloween costume contest, and it was Catwoman. And ever since then, people know me at work as Catwoman. So so yeah, I think that would be my favorite. Not the
is
most comfortable, but like definitely got like a lot of attention for that one. And on Halloween, I ended up going to the Tim Burton, the bar, the what should we call it? Beetle House. They thought I worked there, so they were like, "You work
oh
here? Well, you
geez.
should work here. Are you the entertainment?" I'm like, "No, it's just cosplay."
Would you say Halloween is your favorite holiday then?
100%. Honestly, any time I have an opportunity to dress up, I will. I will do it. Growing up, I grew up in a musical family. My parents are professional entertainers. My mom's a singer, and my dad's a musician. He plays a bunch of instruments. They've been in bands together ever since I was a baby. And there's just instruments everywhere. And like they never pushed me to like be a musician or to be a singer, but everything was just available. Everything was just there. So, it's just inspiring.
Growing up, but not pushing it, but it just happens. It's there. It's available. You said you're a singer and your parents were musicians. Like that's so cool. Me and my wife actually met in marching band. Um, she yeah, so she played clarinet and I played trumpet back in high school. And so you say that it's like, oh, your parents are musicians together. Well, I've technically been in a band with my significant other. So
Oh,
being a Zelda, big fan, have you always played Zelda then?
the first one we had was for the NES, but it was too hard for me. It was too scary and it was too hard. But like, I actually fell in love
Understood.
with Zelda when Ocarina of Time came out. Like, me and my dad, till this day, like, the one game that we will play together are like Zelda games. Like, we'll just take turns playing like any Zelda game. But it started with the N64 Ocarina of Time. The music, the story, just everything about it.
Your dad have one to rock and one to stock of all the Zelda games too?
No, we didn't. We just shared.
Now you're like, dang it, Dad, why didn't you buy that game and seal it, keep it sealed? Just like these Power Rangers. The Zelda games would have been a little bit more.
I know, right? We
You
didn't
really,
know. We didn't know.
yeah, yeah, and grading wasn't, necessarily a thing or thought about for the longest time, and now, things like manga are being graded, Japanese manga, and it's just like that market's starting to like take off too, and like it's just crazy. It's, everybody is a collector. It seems like, nowadays, whether it's clothes, it's Lego, it's Funko Pops. How do you display your collection?
They're all in my old room at my parents' house. It's like every wall just has boxes of Funko. So it's not
Just
like down
stacked.
here, but it's just too much. Like, my Lego is just everywhere. You don't want to look at my Lego. My Lego is just like, it is not organized. It is atrocious to look at right now. But like,
Understood.
My Funko is organized. I just have to step on some Lego to get there.
I gotta ask, is it Lego or Legos?
Lego. It's Lego. Always Lego. Lego is Lego, and Lego is plural for Lego.
Got it.
Never
I had
Legos.
to ask. You're on Lego Masters. I mean, come on now. Like you're
Mm-hmm.
official. You gotta
Yep.
ask for sure.
Right?
Now, is it Funko or is it Funkos?
Funko.
Okay.
Right? Right?
Yeah. Yeah. No, it is. It is. Yeah. I think it
I
is.
had to think about it. I was like, wait a minute.
You really excited for that Zelda game? Not that Link game. That Zelda game.
Zelda game.
Yeah.
Yes. Super cute. It's gonna be
I
amazing.
love I love
Yeah.
the style that they put into that, for sure. And that
Mm-hmm.
Zelda is gonna be the heroine. Like that's so cool. Yeah.
Ah, so cute.
What do you think of that price point on the Zelda Deku Tree set?
Take my money. I don't care. It's cheaper. It's cheaper than other Lego sets,
Very
and
true.
it's something I love. Like,
Yeah.
with all my heart. Like, and it's my two favorite Zelda games, Ocarina of Time and Breath of the Wild.
Yep. No,
So
I agree with that.
I was just like, without a second thought, like, I don't care how much it is. I want it. You know what? Like, my order got declined the other day.
Oh, geez.
They were like, "Oh, please contact us and within 5 days, or like, you're gonna lose your order." I was like, "What?"
Oh my
And
goodness.
they were
What
like,
did
"Oh,
you
you ordered
pre-order
it
it
like."
then?
I did. I pre-ordered it, and like, I guess like it took too long to like process. Like, it was like over 21 days, and like,
Oh my
if it
goodness.
hasn't been processed or shipped like within that 21 days span, then like
Yeah.
they decline it. So I had to call them and be like, "Oh, no, no, my card's still good. It's okay." And yeah, so it's getting shipped now, and I'm super excited about it.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, it's coming up real soon. It's so quick now. I'm like, wait a minute, that's a couple days from now, technically, isn't it? So, you know, are you the collector that would be outside of the Lego store, or are you the collector that as soon as it's going up for pre-order, you're just gonna pre-order it and not have to worry about waiting? Yeah,
Yeah, I just pre-ordered it.
gotcha.
No, I didn't even do that for Funko. Mm-mm, mm-mm. No, because I was working at Hot Topic, so I was on the other side, and I know what it's like out there. I'm like, oh no, this is a battleground. Like we might see blood today.
Oh yeah, I know. I
I'm
hear
very
you.
sorry if I say that. I'm not waiting in that line. No, I'm gonna pre-order it, and I'm gonna get it that way. So yeah.
Understandable, completely understandable.
Hmm.
I think I'm mostly the same way. I do give into like midnight releases sometimes because you know how scarce those are nowadays. It
Met
used
them
to
in
be.
my releases at GameStop. I used to do those all the time, but they
Yeah,
don't really do those anymore. Huh?
yeah. They only do those for very select games now, and they have to be really anticipated, and there has to be a lot of people at the store and stuff. How do you feel about, things coming out like physically and digitally? What's your standpoint on that?
I love having the actual physical copy. I love having a box, opening it, keeping the game, bringing it with me. Like, I'm
Mm,
old school like that. But I noticed like they're not coming out with like as many box sets anymore. Everything's like, being digital. I was actually looking for Stardew Valley and I wanted a physical copy. And I'm like, why can't I find it anywhere? Finally, I find it
mm.
like at a certain GameStop. And they're like, oh yeah, they're cutting down on like physical copies of things. So a lot of things are being just digitally downloaded. I'm like, what? That's so sad. That's so sad. I'm
Yeah.
like, you save space. I mean, I have a lot of stuff, but I still like having it.
And it's content if it's physical too, it's not as, content esque if it's not, you can't, oh, I'm going to GameStop to pick up this card that has a code that I'm gonna,
This little piece of
yeah.
cardboard, yeah. No,
No,
it's
it's
not as
not. I
fun.
agree with
And
that.
then you gotta download it, and you gotta wait to download it.
Yeah. I'm sure you heard of the debacle of like the 360 shutting down technically, and like you can only have physical games now and because the digital marketplace is completely done.
I didn't know that. I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
it happened earlier this month or last month, I think. Like if you only had to select a more like amount of time basically till the 360 store shut down for the Xbox 360, and if you didn't have those digital games downloaded, then you don't get them. You wouldn't get them. Like there's no way to reinsure that you had that stuff unless you downloaded it within that time.
Yeah, I'm more of a Nintendo and PlayStation girl. I haven't really touched my Xbox
Yeah,
in a
no,
while.
it's
So,
yeah, I haven't either. I only play the Switch now. To download a game, like say I wanted to play Call of Duty or something, it's like 100 gigabyte update. I'm like, what?
right.
I'm like, I just want to sit down, turn on my game, and play it. And with Nintendo, a lot of
Exactly.
times it's not
Mm-hmm.
necessarily like that.
It's
Yeah,
just simple. It's just
if
easy.
there is an update, it's
Yeah.
pretty quick, pretty often, honestly. Thank you so much, Melanie, for taking the time with us to talk with us about so many things and all things nerdy on collectibles.com unscripted podcast. What are your handles where people can find you?
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much for having me. My handles on Instagram are the underscore petite underscore geek. You can find me on Facebook under that same name and TikTok under the petite geek without the underscores in between.
Got you. And maybe we'll find you on Collectibles app real soon.
Yay!
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for tuning in, guys. I hope you have a great day, night, whatever it may be. And again, thank you so much, Melanie. I hope you have a good time.
Thank you so much for having me. I had such a great time.